what's up? It's Dom. Welcome back to my channel. If you're new to my channel, I typically make bookish content, movie content, and anything else in between. Today's going to be bookish because I'm doing a reading vlog of It by Stephen King that I will be reading for the very first time. It is the book about a killer clown that is over 1,100 pages long, making it my big book of the year. The goal of this reading vlog is just to see how long it takes me to read this book. Right now I plan to read at least 50 pages a day, which would get me done by October 26th because it is currently October 4th. I don't know if I could do 50 pages a day because I have two jobs now. One's seasonal, but one's like my actual job. So who knows if I'll have time, because there's also spooky movies I want to watch, spooky TV shows. I recently started The Haunting in Hill House. I'm already 7 episodes in and I just started yesterday. But I think it'll be a fun goal. I'm going to try my best to make this reading vlog spoiler free, no promises. But without further ado, let's just get started. So I made it to the goal of 50 pages at 2:45 p.m. I have to take a pause. I'm in the middle of a chapter, but I have to take a pause because today's my first day at my second job, so fingers crossed it goes well. But without spoiling anything, where am I? So I found out what happened to George, and that was actually anxiety inducing. I didn't realize how fast my heart was beating until that part ended. Just the way it flowed so well, it was already horrifying. And then you find out about the 3 kids who, and it's like 1987 at this point, the 3 kids who murdered someone. The clown was involved. And now I'm in the middle of Patty and Stanley's chapter. I don't know where it goes from there, but at least I reached my goal. I might read more when I come home tonight. Okay, so it's the next day, October 5th, and I got to page 100 today, and like my goal was to read from 50 to 100. And I did all of that at my babysitting job, and I'm literally falling asleep, so I can't read anymore. But I finished Rich's, adult Rich's story. Then I read Ben's, because he had a drink but didn't get drunk. And, you know, they're all haunted by this call from Mike, so I want to know, like, what did they do? And then I just finished Eddie's. He's a new one, because Rich mentioned all the friends, but he didn't mention Mike, which I thought was interesting, since Mike's the one who called them. And Eddie wasn't mentioned either. His wife kind of annoyed the shit out of me, and I'm really wondering if his mom and maybe the wife might be a stretch, but I'm wondering if his mom had like, what's it called, like Munchausen by proxy? I butchered that, but you guys know what I'm saying. Either that or she was just very controlling, because I think we all know someone who had to live the life Eddie lived as a kid. His wife, I'd say that's a stretch to make that claim. I just think overprotective, and like he saw his mother in her, therefore, you know, the panic set in and married her. But she was annoying the shit out of me, like the constant wailing, and it's like, girl, let him go, let him go. The next story is Beverly's, but I will get to that tomorrow. Oh, what's his fucking name? Bowers, Henry Bowers, I think his name is. They keep mentioning him, like, what did he do? Does he have anything to do with Pennywise? That's what I want to know. Yo, how long has it been truly? I just haven't had time to pick up the camera. I have read a bit. I'm so far behind on my goal though. I've been wanting to read 50 pages a day. Right now, I am 200 pages behind. Great. Really, all I have to say about this book is that it's very reminiscent of styles like War and Peace and Les Miserables, and Monte Cristo too, where like every character, even the side characters, get a 10-page backstory just for like one little action. For Adult Bill, I'm wondering if his story is similar to Stephen King's like actual story. I don't know the story of Stephen King's life, so that's why I'm questioning this, because Bill went to college for English and he's asking why can't stories just be stories, and then he was like treated like shit for it. So I wonder if Stephen King actually went through that himself, because I know like his book like The Body, it's inspired by something that happened to him. So there's that. So that's, you know, why I'm wondering that. But right now we're at the part where in 1958, Ben just left the library and he's in the middle of being he's getting beat up by Henry Bowers for making Henry Bowers flunk math, basically. Yeah, so I have work in like an hour and a half, well 2 hours. I have to leave in an hour and a half. So I'm just gonna read as much as I can. There's no way I'm gonna catch up to my 200-page goal. So I'm at 280 pages. I wanted to go a little over, but I can't read anymore. I'm so tired right now. I was reading a lot during babysitting, and I got pretty far. Bill was able to save Eddie, but in the end, Eddie didn't need saving, because it does admit there is more hints that his mother, Eddie's mother, has Munchausen by proxy, whatever that's called. Stephen King described what's in his inhaler, and it's tap water. So the placebo effect is at work here. Then it told the story of that Eddie Cochran kid and how the dad like basically hammered his little brother to death and he died. And it's at the point where King introduces the idea that the clown Pennywise turns into whatever your fear is, I guess, because that chapter ended with once Eddie's version of it appeared, he disappeared and changed into something else. So he changes, and right now we're at Mike Hanlon's story, and I stopped mid-chapter because the chapter's too long, and he's running away from this bird. So I guess this is my hint of what, because everyone's like, don't think of the bird, or don't think of the turtle, don't think of this and that, and I'm like, what are y'all talking about? And it's coming closer. I'm about to knock out. I just watched Psycho, and that movie reaction will be up whenever it's up, but like, I am unsettled. The face Norman Bates made at the end is so unsettling. But also, Anthony Perkins is cute. No one told me he was going to be that cute. He's hardly ever in the center of frames. I'm supposed to be on page 800 of it, according to my little arbitrary schedule. Did I say that word right? I don't know. But what page am I on? I'm on page 350. So here we are. We have learned of Eddie I always want to say his last name's Casbrax. We have learned of Eddie Casbrax, of his version of it, which is like a leaper. I forgot what the word actually was. But we see his version. They're stopped by an Irish cop, because they were building that dam and they backed up a lot of sewers. So now we're in Richie's point of view. We don't really know his version of it yet, because I don't know if he has one just yet. But they saw George's photograph, or his photograph book actually, because Bill claimed that the photo of George winked at him and started bleeding. But when they saw it, Bill and Richie together, it was that photo wasn't there anymore, and it was just like this 1930s photo that they were in, and then they closed the book and then they weren't in. Bill was going through the photo. So stuff I wasn't expecting to read in this book. I don't know what I was expecting going into this, but here we are. So now Richie is on his way to go see a scary movie. We are seeing Beverly Marsh as a child for the first time, and Ben's gonna go with them. That's where we're at. Do I like Richie? Not really. I mean, I kind of do. When he's not with his friends, he's not obnoxious, and he's an okay character to read. But when he's with his friends, he's so obnoxious, and I want to punch him, and I want to tell him to shut the fuck up just as much as his friends do. But you know what? I should be going to bed because I have to wake up at 6:30. It is 10:20. But I'm going to read till 12:30 anyway. I'm going to try to get to page 400 so I could be 400 pages behind and not 450. I only read 20 pages before I started to fall asleep because I am just so good at this. I'm so good at completing my goals here. But all that I read was that Bev, Richie, and Ben watched their movies, ran away from Henry Bowers after beating the shit out of him actually, went to the Barrens to talk, but then Bill came, and now Bill and Richie are talking about going to visit the porch where Eddie saw his version of it. And honestly, this is one of those books where like you could read so many pages but so little of the plot actually happens. 370 pages into the book, and my arm is hurting, and not a lot of the plot is actually going on. I would argue that this book is more character driven because everything that's not plot is just it's memories, it's the characters making connections. They're spending paragraphs like thinking about something, like one action, and you'll get a whole paragraph of what the character thinks about it. So my theory is that he's doing all this build up for the final punch at the end, which is very vague by what I mean. But what I'm trying to say is that this book is really not scary, or at least not as scary as I thought it was going to be. I know I said in the beginning about Georgie, like what happened to Georgie, that was horrifying, like it was heart attack inducing, I could feel my heart racing. But right now, it's going with the flow. So I think he's doing all this character-driven stuff, so when you get that final horror punch at the end, it is scary. I don't hate the book, and I don't like dislike it. I like this book. I'm thoroughly enjoying myself. I just wish it was scarier. But we have a lot of pages to get through, so hopefully I have time to read tomorrow at work, because I want this book done before November. I don't think that's going to happen this time, because I don't get days off of work, so I can't catch up. Y'all, how long has it been? Also, I'm supposed to be on page 1000 on my like arbitrary goal sheet. I'm on page 450. Listen, work has been kicking my ass. I don't know why I thought I could do 2 jobs at once. Luckily, one's almost over. But today, because it's only 1:51 in the afternoon, I'm losing it. I'm just going to read as much as I can. I'm going to try to play catch up as much as I can. That's today's schedule. Read as much of it as I can. Finish Bly Manor because I only have 2 episodes left. Maybe watch a movie. Actually watch 2 movies because my reaction to The Birds was supposed to be out today. Haven't even filmed it yet. So it's a time But let's get reading. So I just finished part 2 and therefore like also finished the second interlude, which is just Mike writing about Derry in the present day, and holy crap, is his father's story of the black spot heartbreaking. Like some of the descriptions of the people burning in this thing, that it was sad. Like I actually teared up a bit. And then it ended with his dad having the same version of it as he did. Okay. Alright. So I'm gonna start part 3, and it's called Grown Up, so I'm assuming it's like the modern day, the kids in the modern day. Just some comments I have about part 2. Like I can't really like state, like I said, I wanted to do this like kind of spoiler free. And really all I could say is the language of this book is definitely a product of its time. It came out in the 80s, I think. It's also reminding me how shitty everyone is when they're a preteen, because some of the friends are like mean to each other. Like some of the things they say, like I hesitate to use the word works, but like it works because they're friends. Like I remember, I mean to this day too, me and my friends, we always pick on each other. I think we just all have those moments to our friends where we're like purposely mean to each other, but like in a bantering way, and that's what these kids remind me of. But it's like also some of the things they say, like holy shit, does it remind me of how shitty we all were as preteens. And I don't miss being that age, and it like whenever people tell me teenagers are the worst, I always tell them, remember yourself as a preteen. Like, have you met preteens if you think teenagers are the worst? Quite frankly, I think teenagers are a lot nicer than preteens, but whatever. I'm gonna eat this Reese's peanut butter cup that my dad came home and gave me and finish my coffee, and my arm is hurting, so let's keep reading. So I'm past page 500. The gang's all together minus Stan. Ben talks about how skinny he got and how he got skinny, and it was because he just wanted to like basically spite his teacher that he should charge for sexual assault, now that I'm thinking about it. But yeah, he just did it basically out of spite, and you know, I respect him for that. His teacher should not be a teacher. He should be fired with the things he was saying. And then the chapter just ended saying like, hey Mike, what's happening? And he's like, alright, I'll tell you. And that's it. So like, I said this before, these chapters could be 20 pages long, and it's all character development, which is fine, but plot-wise, like, nothing much happens with the plot, you know? So, quite frankly, I am enjoying the book. It's like a 3 out of 5 star read. It's not the greatest thing I've ever read by any means, but, like, it's not bad. It's 3 out of 5 stars. But I will say, if you're someone who likes plot over character development, this book is probably not for you. Because I remember going into it thinking, like, how the fuck is a book about a clown supposed to be 1,100 pages long? And I could see why, because, you know, one line of action needs 20 pages of background. It is November 11th. I don't even remember the last I updated you. My air cleaner thing cannot get any louder. Wow. Anyway, so I got 550 pages into it when I finally just had to give up for the month. Like, I needed to read something new because 550 pages is a lot. That's already like a big book by itself. So I picked up the Thornbirds. Boring, but I'm trying to get that book done. Halloween was great. I inserted the process of making my Kaneki costume, so I hope you enjoyed that. I have read about 100 pages after that. I finally finished the 1985 chapter where they're all adults and like they meet with each other. And to describe my feelings without spoiling, let's see, Bev's chapter, Pennywise is a fucking perv. Like, so when people say Stephen King is that author, I didn't really, my glass is dirty, can you see that? My glasses are horribly dirty. So when people say Stephen King is that author, I only read 3 other books by him and I never got that feeling. The other books I read by him were Full Dark No Stars, The Body, and Salem's Lot. But reading this book, I get it. Like, there's just some language in this book where I'm like, holy fuck, I don't want to read that. During Bev's chapter where like they separated and had to go on a walk by themselves. And during Bev's chapter, I have never closed my legs so fast reading that. Henry Bowers makes an appearance. I was not expecting that. I was actually shocked to read about his 2 friends, but Henry himself, I don't know what I was expecting, just wasn't that. And now Tom Rogan makes an appearance, so I'm like, and Bill's wife, so I want more of that. But of course, we're at the 3rd interlude, meaning we're going to go back to when they were kids. I'm behind my reading schedule. I made a reading schedule. I should be on page 900. I'm on page 650, but... So I am 100 pages later, I think 100 pages, 150 pages since I last saw you. Mike has joined the group, which I was wondering when that was going to happen because he's so involved with them as an adult, but as a kid he just wasn't there, so I was like, what, when? I passed the smokehouse, which that whole part was kind of trippy, like the becoming of it. And right now I'm in the section where Eddie gets his big break. He's in the hospital and his mom, who I can't fucking stand, has turned away his friends and he's about to tell her off. So I'm so excited. But today I have to go downtown because I have to start my Christmas shopping for friends and I'm buying gifts for my friends in New Zealand. So I'm going to read on the train there. I'm a little worried because it's supposed to rain, but I can't push it off till tomorrow because it's going to rain. And then the weekday I can't go because I have work. And I can't push it off till next weekend because it's going to fucking rain. And I can't push it off in 2 weeks because in 2 weeks that's when I'm sending the package so I can get to them in time. Hopefully it's just a drizzle, but I have a feeling, you know, Murphy's Law. If I don't go down, it'll be a drizzle. If I do go down, it's going to be a downpour. We'll see. Hope my shit doesn't get ruined. I can see it's already getting darker. It's only 1 p.m. and it's supposed to rain at 4:30. I haven't been downtown since before I left for Florida. Hi, if you're new here, I was living in Florida in the beginning of the year, but then I had to come back due to COVID back in March. So yeah, I haven't been downtown since like around this time last year. It's gonna be insane. So it's almost a whole fucking week later. I have read a lot. I just did not pick up the camera because I had a lot going on. As for it, I officially have less than 250 pages. No, I have less than 200 pages to go. Some thoughts. So I read about what happened to Patrick Hockstetter. Can I just say, okay, Stephen King is definitely that writer. I definitely see what everyone's talking about. I did not need to read about 12-year-olds masturbating. That was fucking weird. No, thank you. No, not 12-year-olds. And Patrick's It, like, freaked me out because he saw, like, bugs, I guess, and, like, that whole thing was horrifying. I'm just shocked because Beverly watched it happen, so I'm just shocked that, like, Pennywise didn't but didn't, like, sense her there. Whatever, I'm not gonna question it. There were a few times during that whole part where, they would hug, like, the children would get scared and hug, because Beverly brought them over to the refrigerator, to Patrick's refrigerator, and they all got scared, and, like, or it was, I don't know if they got scared, they were like, agreeing to continue with their plan, and they all hugged, and for some reason when these kids hug, I want to cry. Like, I actually teared up. I don't even know why, but I do. It's just, it's like a friendship I'm jealous of, you know? And right now, I'm trying to delete my note here. So right now, I'm at the part where it's like the ritual of the chewed, and it was the slow build up to when they were, kids, and they were doing their first fight with Pennywise. And the pacing is so slow, but the tone is eerie, and it stressed me out. I could feel my heart pounding in my ears, and just for the fight scene to go really, really fast. So I thought that was very well done, because I can imagine when you're scared of something, time goes by slow, and then when it actually happens, it's fast, you know? But right now we're in the ritual of the chewed, and it's like interesting how he's writing it, because each chapter ends in mid-sentence, and the last half of the sentence picks up as the beginning of the next chapter, but sometimes the next chapter has nothing to do with it. Like, I know there was a chapter of Beverly's dad chasing her that ended, and then the sentence went on to, like, Henry Bowers as an adult. And it's agonizing, because, and I know Stephen King's doing this on purpose. He's doing it to keep you reading and to keep you on edge. But each chapter starts off slow and then gradually gets faster and faster, and then just ends and switches to something else. And it's stressing me out. And I could picture how it would be done in a movie. I don't know if the movie actually does this. I could picture it like going back and forth, like movies tend to do like that. But like right now, Beverly and Ben just got out. So they're kids. They just got out of their clubhouse, and Henry is stalking them. And I think they're about to chase them into the sewers. That's what we're going to read. It's going to be exciting, but not at 2 o'clock in the morning. At 2 o'clock in the morning, I have to go to bed. But I'm slurring my words because of the caffeine high. Yes, I had coffee late at night because I was watching One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest for this channel. I will link that up above. I also just finished watching the Magic of Disney's Animal Kingdom on Disney+, and I want my fucking job back. And now I'm watching Mandalorian, and I'm gonna start Ratched tomorrow. I got my life planned out this weekend. It's gonna be fine. And I think we're putting up the Christmas tree, so that'll be exciting as well. Hello, I am finally on page 1000 of this book. I officially have 156 pages to go. What has happened? Well, what has happened? Now I need to like kind of think back on this. So Richie, Stan, and Eddie were talking about religion because they always make Jew jokes towards the Stan, and Stan's like snaps back right at them. You know, I have to Stan. And Richie talking about like not eating meat on Catholics not eating meat on Catholics. What the fuck did I just say? Richie talking about how he can't eat meat on Fridays because he's a Catholic gave me fucking war flashbacks, because like, even though I'm not religious myself anymore, I still cannot get myself to eat meat on Fridays during Lent. It could be religious OCD, that's what I've been told, but whatever, who knows. The Catholic guilt is real. And then older Henry tried killing Eddie, but Eddie's the man, got it done. And right now we just ended on the chapter where they were kids, and they were running away from Henry and friends. And they're in that like pumping thing, and now they're walking through the tunnel. They're talking about the ritual of the chewed, whatever it's called, and that's where we're at. That last chapter gave a solid pace, because I was getting a little tired of the back and forth there for a second, but now we're back to the adult days, I guess. Like, the first chapter just says Tom, so his fucking dick ass is back, I guess. We'll see. I need to eat dinner. I'm so hungry, and I'm gonna start the show Ratched. So, I have 80 pages of this book left, and I have things to talk about before I move on to reading, and I have a list here because I didn't want to forget. So, Tom is back in the picture, right? I'm thinking his role is going to be even bigger, and how do I talk about this without spoiling it? It's a lot smaller than I thought it was. Like, he reintroduced him. Not a lot of action. Audra, I was not expecting what happened to her to happen. Oh, also, Tom's end result, cheap shot, could have been expanded, but whatever. The book's already over 1,100 pages. Poor Audra, and I'm hoping she gets a happy ending. I don't really think she's going to, but again, I have 80 pages left. A lot can happen in 80 pages. This is also going back and forth from like the children to adult, and I actually like this better because each chapter is actually ending. It's not ending in mid-sentence. Like, that was clever, but it made the pacing really choppy, and it was kind of bothering me. It flows better. We got to read about who it really is when they started and how they're thinking. Who the fuck is this turtle, though? I'm so confused where this turtle came from. Like, they were mentioning the turtle, like, throughout the book in little spurts, but I'm still... okay, I shouldn't say I'm still confused, because we did get an explanation on who the turtle is, I'm still confused how I feel about it. And then the kids went up to this little door. I call it the Coraline door. That's not, it's obviously not what it is since this came way before Coraline did, but that's what I'm going to call it, the little door, you know, the little door on the wall. There was one point where it's kind of like a twist, and I screamed "what" so loud that I scared the little girl I was babysitting, because I don't know what I was expecting with, I do know what I was expecting actually. What I was expecting going into this book, the way people advertise it to you, even the synopsis, it's advertised as a killer clown. That's what I was expecting to get. Right now we're having this like ethereal being, is ethereal the right word? But anyway, how did I describe him to my dad when ranting about this? Otherworldly, this otherworldly being who's been there since the dawn of time, who I don't know what I was expecting when I learned that Pennywise the Clown can shapeshift. What was I expecting? I don't know, but not this, and I don't know if I'm liking it. It's really, really fucking weird. He's sending them, it's not even a he, it's a female, which threw me for a loop. I would have never guessed Pennywise the Clown was supposed to be female. I guess she threw them, she's playing like mind tricks, I guess is what's happening, and they're floating, adult Richie and Bill are floating towards the deadlights, which I'm low-key still kind of confused about. Like, the deadlights are it's, but not really. I think they are. That's like its true form. Still highly confused. I hope it gets cleared up in the 80 pages. I'm just worried because Stephen King's known for not having the best endings, and I think he himself has said that he really struggles with endings. And of the 3 other books I've read by him, 2 of them I see that. Full Dark, No Stars, I mean, those are short stories, but I did not like the endings to any of those short stories. Salem's Lot, the ending left me unsatisfied. Even The Body, as much as I loved that book, the ending wasn't as satisfying as I wanted it to be. So I'm really scared I'm reading this brick of a book just to get a shitty ending, and I have a feeling I'm not gonna like it. I know another booktuber who just read this, she said she loved the book, like the book as a whole she loved, but the ending she hated. Okay, I read like 3 pages since I last updated you. Eddie died. Just like that. It wasn't even like a... What? What? He just died. Died. That's it. That's how Stephen King said it. Just died. Okay. Wow. Okay, so I just finished a chapter where Beverly had this great idea on how to leave the sewers and shown it, and can we talk about the fact there's child porn in this book? What the fuck did I just read? Stephen King could describe it any way he wants. All those descriptions in this chapter about being together and all that crap still doesn't excuse the fact this is straight up child porn. A child gangbang, bunch of 11-year-olds having sex. I'm actually, like, I was gonna say I have no words, but like I'm actually physically sick to my stomach. Like, it hurt. Like, my stomach hurt reading that because of how disgusted I was. I did not need to read about an 11-year-old girl's orgasm that she described as flying. I'm out. This is gross. I looked up reviews of this book right away because of this chapter, and it seems like this is not, my opinion here is not unpopular. A lot of people are like, what the fuck was this? According to my friend who has seen the movies, they understandably took that out. Ooh, the producers would be in jail if they included that. Yeah, I had no warning for this at all. Like, the only warning I got is when I told my friend I'm reading this, and she was like, yeah, be aware of that weird part of the book. And I was like, weird part? Like, clearly everyone but me knows this. So I had no warning. And honestly, as of now, I find it really unnecessary. Like, I understand what he was going for. Like, they had to be together. They were losing they were on a tightrope. They were holding onto a chain. The chain that brings them together was loosening. They had to come together somehow. But I feel like there were other ways to go about that than child porn.
Disgusting!
He must have been like on drugs writing this ending, because I'm not liking this ending. I don't understand this ethereal being, this otherworldly spider. The fact that it's been female this whole time. What? I guess that doesn't happen in the movies either. I've never seen the movies, but I guess that doesn't happen because I asked my friend, like, was Pennywise the Clown female this whole time? And she's like, what the fuck are you talking about? And I was reading other reviews and everyone's like, what, was he on drugs writing this ending? So I don't know what the next 50 pages are in store for me, and I don't want to know, honestly. I want to end the book here. I have 20 pages left. All I have left is the last interlude and the epilogue. So the adults are in the sewers. Derry's falling apart. Like, my worst fear living in Chicago is just the streets giving in and all these buildings falling. And that's what's happening here because there's a big storm. It died. That was very anticlimactic. I'm very disappointed in its ending, honestly. Very sad about Eddie dying, and they leave him in the sewers. There is a feel-good moment, like when they're the four of them, so it's Ben, Richie, Bill, and Beverly. They're walking back to the townhouse, and Beverly can see Eddie and Stan's reflections, and that, that was a feel-good moment. And it ended with them, as kids leaving the sewers, grabbing hands, swearing they'll come back. From what I read of the body and of it, Stephen King is really good at capturing, like, just childhood friendships, like, minus the child porn, which they completely just don't talk about and I'm still freaked out by. Minus that, these friends are just so, like, I'm jealous of their friendship, and I wish I could have that feeling again. Because, like, I think the body says this, but I know the movie Stand By Me says this, like something along the lines of, like, you never have the same friends like you did when you were 12. And I feel that. My middle school friendship group, I miss that feeling of tightness. Like, I'm still, like, tight with my friends now. It's just we're all adults. We're all on separate paths. We all have our things to do, whereas as kids, you could always be with your friends because you didn't have a lot of responsibilities, And that's what that chapter gave me, that sense of hope and just contentness. And it was a feel-good chapter, and I just wished it was the last one, but no, there's more to read. So we'll see. Okay, so I just read the last interlude. I didn't think it was gonna be, I'm actually kind of crying. I didn't think it was gonna be that sad. They're all forgetting. I'm actually crying. Why am I crying with the Stephen King book? But they're all, after all of this, they're forgetting. And I hate it. I don't want, okay. I hate the concept of it, but it's, like, so well written that, like, I'm obviously, like, mourning the situation. They're forgetting each other, and it's so sad, and they're so scared about it too. I don't know, I can't imagine just not remembering my childhood like that. Like, your best friends, like, I don't know, I don't even know how to word it, and, like, it was just the way that ended. Like, it was so simple, but, like, that's why I'm crying. Like, shit, man. And, like, you could, like, sense how much they love each other. It sucks. I'm crying over a fucking Stephen King horror novel. I can't believe this. I'm done. I don't know what to think yet. My thoughts are really jumbled, but damn, you know that one meme, not meme, but you know that one, like, statement that was going around social media where it basically said, at one point in your childhood, you and all your neighborhood friends played outside together for the last time and none of you knew it? That's what the ending of this book reminds me of, especially because Bill even says, like, he remembers later on, after they defeated it as kids, they never got together again, like, all 7 of them. Often it was just 4, 5, and 6 only once, but it was never 7. And, like, the epilogue. Mike's chapter made me cry, and I'm over it, but not really. It's just because the way I imagine him saying that, because it ends with him saying, I love you guys, I really do, like, something like that. And I just imagined, like, a screen going blank, and then you hear him whispering, like, in a sad tone, I love you guys, That's how I pictured it, and that's probably why I was, like, crying the way I was. The epilogue was just Bill trying to cure Audra, basically, so he was writing Silver. And in the grand scheme of things, was it really needed? No, I don't think so. Even Mike's bit with all of them forgetting, honestly, I truly believe the book could have ended with the chapter where the 7 of them cut their hands and hold hands. I truly believe, like, maybe the last 2 paragraphs rewritten, and then that could have been the last section. That could have been the ending, but whatever. I'm not Stephen King. It still hit seeing, like, a grown man remember some stuff about his childhood, feel like a kid again, and just, like, the last paragraph, that was kind of, like, usually his endings kind of suck, but honestly, that last paragraph was kind of a punch in the gut. Him remembering his childhood and his dreams, and trying to remember the kids he played with. What I am unsatisfied with is that we only get Bill's end of an arc. Like, did Ben and Beverly stay together? It's hinted that they do, but did they stay together? What happened to Richie while he was in California? What happened to Eddie's wife? Like, how is Myra gonna take this? Who else? Oh my god, even I'm forgetting. Mike, like, how does he feel? Do any of them end up having kids? Because that was, like, a huge deal, how none of them could have kids. I don't know what I'm going to give it yet, so I think that's all I'm going to say for now, and I'll come back tomorrow with a more hopefully cohesive thought process on this. Alright, so it's final thoughts time. I had tacos and my stomach hurts because I ate so much, so I'm struggling here, but I'm going to try to sum it up. I'm going to be repeating myself a bit, but please just bear with me. I don't know how to sum up a book that's 1,150 pages long. But to start out with, I've already said in the beginning of this video, this is more character. This is more, everyone's sending me their like Spotify playlists. I love it. Anyway, so this is more character driven than plot driven. And I guess it's because it's an exploration of friendship. That's what I'm taking this as, rather than like actual, rather than an actual horror book. It's just it's like an exploration of like childhood friendship and what it means to have friends as children, and like innocence versus what we are as adults. So that's what I'm taking that as. And then once again, I was not expecting Pennywise or it to be this otherworldly being. I'm still really confused on where that was going. Maybe it was foreshadowed and I just didn't see it because this is my first read through. But to me, it was really fucking random. I don't know I don't know. Like, I just wanted him to be like a monster, not this otherworldly being, which I guess is still a monster. But like, just because it's more character driven, I was expecting it to be one of those stories where like humans are the true monsters kind of thing, and it's not. So I still don't know how I feel about that in particular. I am really upset that they forgot. I understand forgetting trauma like that to help protect the brain, but at least remember each other. I'm upset that he had to go that route. Mike's chapter was a punch in the gut. Like, as you guys saw, I cried. And like, you could feel their fear of forgetting. I have a fear of forgetting things, and I'm not gonna get into it, but like, I don't know, man. I'm upset for them. And like, the final chapter was kind of a punch in the gut. How? Because they always said Silver the bike was to beat the devil, something like that. And you know, and he beat the devil to save Audra, his wife's name is Audra. He is in Bill, and like, the devil is obviously what it created, and he beat it, and Audra got her memory back. And I guess finally, this is just one of those books where I didn't realize how much I liked it until it was over. Because while reading the book, I was like, okay, this is only 3 out of 5 stars. But then once it ended, I thought about it, and I really did like the friendship dynamics, and I did like the characters. Even Richie, I know in the beginning I was like, oh, I kind of don't like him. But I ended up liking all 7 of them, and I was upset to put them on the shelf after spending almost 2 months with them. So I'm going to give it 4 out of 5 stars. So yeah, 4 out of 5 stars, but seriously, what the fuck was the child porn? I understand the point of it. Like, I understand the whole togetherness thing, and I understand it was supposed to represent losing your innocence. I just feel like there was more ways to go about that than having a bunch of 11-year-olds do an orgy. That's just me. Because I know part of it was the togetherness. Have them hold hands and speak in tongues. I don't know. Like, I don't need the sex. That was fucking weird. And that's really all I have to say. I wanted to rush that conclusion because I knew I would end up rambling. But I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I hope you enjoyed this ride. It's been a time. I was not expecting the book to take this long to finish, but here we are at the end of November. But anyway, thanks so much for watching. If you liked this video, give it a big thumbs up, subscribe, comment. Y'all know the drill. And without further ado, I'm gonna peace out and I'll see you guys later. Ciao tutti.